Starting to wonder if every episode we do until I find a new job is going to involve starting with a job interview. Hello and welcome to Club 4 Part 18 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev. Coming up on today's episode, you know the drill by now. We're definitely playing Posh. We might be playing Colchester. But first, a job interview. Before we get into that though, since you were last with me, things looked like they were going okay. We actually got ourselves up to as high as 5th place in the league after this 4-1 win. And then it's all gone a little bit wrong. The last 4 games, we've not won a match and we've actually lost our last 2. It isn't the best form to take into a job interview. And also what it's done is propelled us back down to 10th place. We're still only 3 points outside of the playoffs, but everyone above us has at least 1, if not 2 games in hand over us. It's starting to look like more of a challenge to finish in a playoff spot, but not impossible. And it's definitely our backup plan for the season is to go up to the Premier League via the playoffs. But plan A, as it has been all along, is to try and short-circuit that process, make the jump up to the Premier League or equivalent league. I keep applying for jobs in other countries, and they're actually not even interviewing me. Wolves is available, not interested. It's Watford who we've got the interview with, who you just saw. But every time I apply for a Premier League, for a club in a top division in another country, they kind of just laugh me out the building. Hertha Berlin, are we interested in them? They're rich, we're interested, so we will apply for that one as well. But for now, we're going to have an interview with Watford. And hopefully, we actually get a little bit more joy out of this one. I'm not at loggerheads with my current employer. Ready to take the next step. I think I'm just going to change tactic and go for the top option on all of these. Yeah, exception rather than the rule. Extremely confident. I'm a motivator. I'll take charge immediately. Don't need to make any changes. Right, what do you want from me? Sign young players for the first team. Of course. Develop players using the club's youth team. Yeah, I'm not interested in signing high-profile players, though. No expectations. They're the kind of expectations I like. No requests to propose. Boom. Job interview done. Now we wait and see. And while we wait, we'll take on Posh, and this is the team that we'll put out there to do that. We've got Rudd in goal, a back four of Purrington, making a very rare appearance, because he's been asking for first-team football, so we'll give him a bit. I mean, he's no worse than Van Aanholt and De Silva, who've been playing most of the season. We'll give him a little bit of first-team football, see if he messes up. Thomas and Herford in the middle, and then De Silva at right back. Grant, Boateng and Tunnicliffe at the midfield, with Shashua in behind. Scott Hall, the Razor Ramon strike partnership, is reunited because Ike Ugbo has picked up a slight knock. He's just signed a new contract extension. We've given him a little bit of a pay rise and added another year on because he's just been in incredible form lately. Where do you look at form? Form, there we go. I mean, at the time, I think that was roughly where he signed his new contract. I hope we didn't kill any chances of our promotion push by giving him the new contract and ruining his form. I got my new contract now. I can stop playing again. I'll go back to the boring form I had earlier in the year because that was just awesome. But he's there on the bench today because he's injured. So let's get into the game and hopefully get back to winning ways. 4 games without a win. 2 defeats on the bounce. It's not good for a team that would like to think we're in a playoff push. Remember, the board are just looking for us to avoid relegation this year, so a mid-table finish wouldn't be the end of the world. I'm not in any fear of getting sacked, but we do want to keep pushing on with this series. And I do think that if we spend too long just in the mid-table of the Championship, it's not what I'd want to do in real life. We're all about realism. I'd be looking to move on at this point, whether I'm looking to move on to a bigger club or move Portsmouth on. And that was a pretty spectacular effort from Barry Scott, and it just cannons back off the crossbar. I do wonder if he'd just kicked that like a normal human, would it have been a little bit more effective? But, you know, I don't mind a little bit of spectacular every now and again. Shashua out to De Silva. Weird cross. And it almost made its way onto the head of Barry Scott, but really he hit it far too close to the goalkeeper. It was almost like a lumped ball forward rather than a cross. Playing it far too early. Right, Grant into Shashua. Forward to Scott, who's in space. This time, kicks it like a normal and puts us 1-0 up. I don't know what that does to the league table right now. It looks like the teams above us are winning games, and in fact have probably won some games between us looking at the league table and this game kicking off, because despite going 1-0 up, we seem to be further away than we were at the start of the episode. which wasn't expected. So, no, we are back to 3 points. 3 points behind, and now it's just the one game in hand that everyone above us has got. So I don't know who it was who had 2 games in hand. Maybe Hull. But we're down to 1 game in hand for all of them. Scott's just put us 2-0 up. A 3-point gap's not a disaster. And certainly if we can use this as a springboard to get back to winning ways, then the playoffs are still a definite possibility. Purrington there, involved in the goal, nods it down to Grant, plays it forward to Shashua. It's a lovely little through ball to Scott, and he's taken advantage of getting back in the team. I mean, he's not played for a little while. It's been Ugbo and Hall up front for us, and Barry Scott has been itching for the opportunity to get back in the team and re-establish himself as our top scorer and main man. And it looks like he's taken his opportunity. We just got a message saying we're being seriously overrun in midfield. I guess Posh have had 63% possession, so I might allow that comment, but I'm not that bothered when we're 2-0 up. I'll worry about losing possession and stuff when we're 3-2 down. We're on our way there. It's 2-1 now, and that's poor goalkeeping from Rudd, I think. You shouldn't be getting beaten at the near post like that. We'll have a look at it from the other angle, but on first inspection, it looked a little bit iffy. Yeah. That's a little bit iffy. You shouldn't. I mean, he's got his angles right and everything. You'd think he's in a good position. Can even just stick his foot out to save that. I can only assume he thinks it's going wide and didn't want to give the corner away. But really, just give the corner away in future, sir. I don't want to be seeing you get beaten at the near post again, because that's just silly. Shashua with a ridiculous back-heeled through ball to Hall. Puts us 3-1 back, 3-1 up, back in we were in the lead. I haven't got any words for this because it's so ridiculous. Grant plays it into Shashua. That is a back heel half volley through ball that takes 3 opposition defenders out of the play. And I still get heat down in the comments for Shashua telling me that he's not any good. Well, he's got a hat-trick of assists today. He's any good. I won't have anyone say a bad word about him. He's just a very, very good footballer, as he showed there with that assist. Grant now trying to find Hall. Second time of asking finds Tunnicliffe, and Ryan Tunnicliffe scores against his former club. I mean, he only played like 10 games on loan for us, but former club all the same. And it's now 4-1 just before half-time. It always pains me a little bit when I do this to Posh, but needs must. 4 games without a win. We needed a game like this. And Ryan Tunnicliffe's captain today. Oh, isn't that nice? Captain against his old club. It's like the old days when clubs actually used to do stuff like that. It's just a byproduct of the fact that Thompson is injured. But it's still nice to pretend we're doing it as a special occasion for Tunnicliffe. Right. More of the same, please, gentlemen. We still find ourselves 3 points outside of the playoffs. I don't know how Crystal Palace are getting on. Highlight quickly, go back. Rudd makes a save. Now can we see how Palace are getting on? It's another corner. Palace are winning 2-0 against Brighton. Brighton are second in the league. Did I mention, by the way, that our 4-1 win, our last victory, was against top of the table Huddersfield away from home? Ridiculous. We beat them 4-1 away from home. Possibly get a little bit too big for our boots. Give Ugbo a big pay rise. And then don't win for 4 games. And now we're away from home, 4-1 up again. So it seems that we go from one extreme to the other at the moment. It would be nice just to win. I can't believe I'm going to say this sentence. It would be nice to win just 4 games in a row, 2-0. Just boring football. Shashua has added to all the assists he got earlier in the game with a beautiful goal of his own. And now Hull have slipped up in their game. With the gap is down to 2 points. After this replay, we'll have a look to see who Hull are playing and how they're getting on. Was that Grant with the through ball? Grant's been involved in a lot today as well. He's really starting to learn how to play as part of this midfield 3. That he's kind of had to accept that's what he's going to have to do. So he's got 2 of the assists. Shashua with the other 3. Schmodix is just sat there on the bench, just looking around, thinking, "I'm supposed to be the star man here. What are these 2 lads up to?" Shashua is now going to finish his day early with a red card. Well, there you go. We've seen just about the full range. Shashua is the perfect metaphor for our league form. We've seen him be absolutely superb, game-changing, awesome, can beat anybody, and then he's done something silly like that. So that kind of sums up how we've been playing lately. Let's make some substitutions. I don't think we don't need a player in that hole there, really. Boateng can come off for Dazelle. Have we got? Yeah, we've got Van Aanholt and Corbett. So we're just going to swap the two fullbacks over, just get a little bit more energy in those areas, and that'll do. We don't really need to change anything else up. Right, what we were going to look at is Hull. So Hull are losing against top of the table Huddersfield. Okay, that's good, because that puts that gap down to 2 points. We've got the best, or at least equal, goal difference as everyone else who's pushing for that 6th playoff spot. So for as long as Hull continue to lose against Huddersfield, we're making progress on closing up this gap. We do need to get some of these teams out of the way, though. A 2 point gap is fine. 3 clubs in the way, not so fine, because we're relying on a lot of teams to drop points. Scott is through, and questionable. I would have said penalty there. Apparently not. I mean, really, I say penalty whenever any one of my players falls over. I assume they've been fouled. It's the only option. Why would they fall over otherwise? Hall picks it up just on the halfway line. I think that's Grant or Dazelle. I don't know who that is who's run beyond him, but it doesn't get played through to him anyway, and Posh are going to grab their second. They don't. It comes back off the post. Boom. Right. One more goal? I feel like one more goal. Hull still losing. Hull still losing? Still losing. Excellent stuff. And I don't like the fact I have to scroll to find us at this stage of the season. It's troubling. But I'm just going to keep focusing in on that 2 point gap. And a very impressive performance today. Although obviously we're not going to have Shashua for the next game now. But we are playing bottom of the table Colchester. So we should, in theory, pick up another win. And that's we're on our way to Watford. We might well be on our way to Watford. If I'm not careful, I'm going to start getting a complex about some of these managers who are getting these jobs ahead of me. David Moyes. What have you been up to, David Moyes? You've been at Villarreal because you've got such a good track record in Spain. Oh, you got sacked there. Interesting. What were you doing before that? You were in Italy with Roma. Oh, you got sacked there, did you? What about West Ham? Surely that went well. That's where you are in real life. You got sacked there. Let's go. Just a reminder, sacked from Sunderland, sacked from Real Sociedad, sacked from Man United. So I lost out to a man who's been sacked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in succession. 6 times in the last 10 years this man has been sacked, and he got the job ahead of me. So we get back to work in the Championship, this time away against bottom of the table. Colchester, is it? Yeah, Colchester. Van Aanholt comes back in at left back. Purrington got his game. That's what he asked for. Dazelle comes back into the midfield at the expense of Shashua, just moving Grant further forward. We're going to keep the Razor Ramon partnership together for another game. Ugbo, he's fit again, I think. Yeah, he's fit again, but we won 5-1 in the last game. He's got to earn his way back into the team again. Philip Brennan gets an opportunity on the bench. He's the young attacking midfielder we signed last summer, I think. He spent a bit of time out on loan. We recalled him during the January transfer window because, in theory, he's as good, or not, no, sorry, he's just slightly below the other 3 attacking midfielders that we've got. The chances of him getting much in the way of game time are fairly slim, bearing in mind who's ahead of him. They're 3 of our best players. But he's knocking on the door, and with Shashua unavailable, he can sit on the bench. He's not going to get on the pitch ahead of Schmodix. So unless we have injuries in our midfield, you're not going to see him. I mean, seriously? Tunnicliffe is injured. I didn't mention at the start of the episode because I forgot. I sold Stuart O'Keefe for like 70,000 in January to try and make room for Aidan Quinn and some of the other younger players to come through. Quinn then got injured for 6 weeks. Now Tunnicliffe is injured. Potential head injury. Smash him. So we'll bring Schmodix on. We're running quite low on central midfield players at this point. We'll swap those 2 over. Get Grant into the midfield. Schmodix can go in behind the front 2. I was playing Grant as a shadow striker. Again, I've got to stop doing that. But you might end up seeing Philip Brennan today. As I was saying, he's an exciting young player that we've got. Would love to give him an opportunity in today's game. Right, I've got to remind everybody we're playing against bottom of the table Colchester. It looks like we used up all our goals in that first episode. I think we only perform when I've got an interview on the go at another club. Because whenever I get rejected for a job offer, our form disappears again. But as long as I've got applications going, the players are playing well. It's like they think they can win their way towards keeping me. Or if they win, they'll get rid of me. It'll be one or the other. If we keep winning, they'll give him the job, and we're done with him then. We'll have someone who knows where the training ground is. Training ground. I don't even know if we've got one. Certainly not anywhere I'm going to hang out. I have a nice shiny office to eat my sandwiches in and get reports from my assistant manager about how wonderfully you're all training. Right, Colchester are actually attacking, which is troubling. The gap is up to 4 points again, so presumably Brentford are ahead in their game. Can anyone see Brentford on there? Brentford don't seem to be playing. Have Brentford already won their game? What would we like for games played? It looks like everyone above us has played their game in hand. So, actually, that's not a disaster. With the games in hand being played, if we can grab a winner in this game, we make up some ground. Because it would be a 2 point gap with no game in hand anymore. And presumably, we've still got the better goal difference, which I will check out as soon as this highlight is over. But actually, there might be some positives. But they do rely on us winning this game. So sloppy passes like that aren't going to be acceptable. But here come Colchester, and we're 1-0 down. I mean, it's like we are handed an opportunity and we just get terrified and have to run away from it. Oh, no, not the Premier League. That means he can start signing all these foreign players he likes signing usually. Because the work permit rules are different there. That's exactly what it means. Get myself some Brazilian wonder kids that I'm not allowed to touch at the moment. I won't touch them. I want to sign them. Right, I don't know what just happened. Something flashed up on the screen. That was a little bit weird. And 2-0. Of course, why wouldn't it be 2-0? It's starting to look less and less likely. It's now a 5 point gap with 10 games left. And our form is just all over the place. We thump a mid-table team 5-1 away from home. And then we come and get thumped by the bottom of the table team. Who, I mean, it's not like they're just bottom. I suppose they're not actually lost without a trace. This actually gives them a hope of staying up. But still, we're playing terribly. Let's get Ugbo on. And I mean, we may as well have a look at Philip Brennan. He might be a superstar. Let's get him on for Grant. Drop Schmodix back. What do you want to be, Phil? You want to be a playmaker? Oh, I like an attacking midfielder. You go do that. So this is Philip Brennan. 21 years old now. 2.5-star current ability with 4.5-star potential. He's been down at Walsall. And he's been doing all right. So we've got him back. And let's see if he brings us back into this game. Perhaps he's going to be the man who saves our season. Because we are getting really low on midfield players. So there's a good chance he's going to be used a little more often. But we need something special from Ugbo. We've got Ugbo and Barry Scott back together. They haven't played together for quite a while. Because when Ugbo was in the team previously, it was usually alongside Hall. And we all know that when Barry Scott's alongside him, there's always the opportunity. He's going to drift out onto that right wing, cross into Ugbo, goal. It's the magic Portsmouth goal. We do need to get them onto the pitch first, though. There's a lot of knocking the ball around, whilst Ugbo stood there not really doing anything. Hall forces a save out of their keeper. That should be his final contribution to the game. We get a corner. It should land on the head of Ugbo. It doesn't. We don't even see a highlight. So, Ugbo out to Scott. Where's Philip Brennan? Oh, I thought this cough had gone away. What was that? I got so excited at the prospect of a young player I've signed getting into our first team, so I stopped getting asked in interviews, hey Kev, why don't you sign any young players? There's one, Philip Brennan. I did try and get Aidan Quinn into the team as well. He's another young player I signed. But he went and broke himself just as I freed up a squad spot for him. We're not even going to try and get back into this game, are we? Stats-wise, we've been mugged as well. So that's cherry on the cake. Ugbo drifting wide. That's not how this is supposed to work. Finds Schmodix, who misses. That's also not how this is supposed to work. This game has been an absolute disaster. We should have won it. We've lost it 2-0. Forget the playoffs. I'm going job hunting again. I thought I might actually be able to commit to the rest of the season. But no, every time I think it might... you know what? I'll see this season out. We'll be fine. We're going to do something like that. And I realise we're never going to get promoted under our own steam. Kev needs to jump ship. Is there any jobs available? No, of course there isn't. Fantastic. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.